Smart TVs are one of the strangest products in modern technology because they seem to break one of the oldest rules in business. When something gets bigger, more advanced, and packed with more features, it should cost more money. Yet somehow TVs have gone the opposite way. You can now walk into a shop or go to a website and buy a massive 55-inch or even 65-inch smart TV for a price that would have seemed impossible not that long ago. These are thin, bright, high-resolution screens with built-in apps, voice control, streaming services, internet connectivity, and processors powerful enough to run full operating systems. On paper, they should be expensive luxury devices. In reality, many of them are shockingly cheap. So the obvious question is, how can companies sell giant pieces of advanced technology so cheaply and still stay in business? That's what we're going to look at in this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps this small channel grow. The answer to why these huge TVs have become so cheap is that the TV itself is no longer the full product. In many cases, the TV in your living room is just the entry point into a much bigger money-making system. Years ago, TV manufacturers made money in a much simpler way. They designed a TV, built it, shipped it to retailers, and sold it for more than it cost to make. Profit came mainly from the hardware. If you wanted a better screen, better speakers, or a premium brand, you paid more upfront. That model still exists to some extent, especially at the high end, but the lower and mid-range market has changed dramatically. Today, many smart TV manufacturers are willing to accept tiny profit margins on the hardware and in some cases almost no margin at all because they know they can continue making money after the TV is already in your home. And this is where the word smart in smart TV becomes so important. A smart TV is not just a display panel anymore. It's an internet connected platform. It has software, apps, tracking systems, advertising space, recommendation engines, and update channels. Once the screen is plugged in and connected to Wi-Fi, it becomes part of an ongoing business relationship. One of the biggest ways TV companies make money now is advertising. If you've ever turned on a smart TV and seen banners on the home screen, promoted content rows, sponsored recommendations, or suggested apps you never asked for, you've already seen this model in action. The home menu on some TVs now looks less like a neutral settings page and more like a streaming marketplace. That space is valuable. Millions of people use those menus every day. If a streaming platform wants its app featured front and center or wants a new film promoted on launch week, there may be money changing hands behind the scenes. The TV maker can earn revenue by promoting certain apps, content, or services directly on the screen you already paid for. Then there's data. Modern smart TVs can collect usage information such as which apps are opened, how long they're used, which menus are clicked, what time the TV is active, and in some cases even what content is being watched through various inputs. This means you can't just get around this data collection using streaming devices like a Fire Stick or Apple TV. This data is often anonymized and aggregated, but it's still valuable because it reveals behavior at scale. Companies want to know what households are watching, when they're watching, and how habits are changing. That information can be used to improve recommendations, target advertising, measure viewing trends, and support marketing deals. In simple terms, usage data helps companies turn attention into revenue. Another major revenue stream comes from partnerships. Think about how many apps come pre-installed on TVs now. Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video, Disney+, Apple TV, and many more are often ready to go straight out of the box. That convenience can be great for users, but it also benefits the platforms even more. Being one click away on the menu screen matters. It reduces friction and increases sign-ups. So if a streaming service wants Prime placement, a branded remote button, or default status during setup, there may be commercial agreements involved. Those dedicated buttons on remotes did not appear there by accident, and they're not just there for your convenience either. This means a cheap TV can keep generating money in multiple ways long after the original sale. Ads, app partnerships, data insights, premium placements, and ecosystem deals all continue in the background. There's also another reason TVs have become cheaper, and that's brutal competition. The TV market is crowded. Many brands sell products that to the average buyer look very similar. A customer standing in a shop might see 5 different 55-inch 4K TVs that all appear nearly identical from a few meters away. When products look almost interchangeable, price becomes the deciding factor. That pushes manufacturers into a race where keeping prices low is essential. If one brand price is too high, buyers simply move to the next screen down the shelf. To stay competitive, companies squeeze manufacturing costs, streamline components, outsource production, and rely more heavily on post-sale revenue models. Panel manufacturing has also improved massively over time. Screens that were once expensive to produce can now be made at huge scale with better efficiency. What used to be premium technology gradually becomes standard. 4K resolution is a perfect example. It was once a high-end selling point, now it's expected even on budget models. So cheaper manufacturing and new software-based revenue streams have combined to transform the market. But there is a catch. When the hardware margin becomes smaller, corners sometimes get cut elsewhere. Budget smart TVs have weaker processors, slower menus, cheaper speakers, limited brightness, shorter software support, or more aggressive advertising built into the interface. This is why some TVs feel smooth and premium while others feel frustratingly slow after only a year or two. If you've ever used a budget smart TV, you'll know exactly the kind of menu lag I'm talking about. You're not always paying with money up front. Sometimes you're paying with convenience, performance, privacy, or attention. That doesn't mean cheap smart TVs are bad deals. In fact, for many people, they're incredible value. If you just want a big screen for films, sports, gaming, or casual streaming, modern budget TVs can be miles better than even the most expensive models from 10 to 15 years ago. The average viewer today gets image quality that would have looked like a futuristic luxury in the not-so-distant past. The key is understanding what's being sold. You may think you bought a TV, but in reality you may have just bought a screen, joined a software platform, entered an advertising ecosystem, and become part of a long-term data relationship all at once. This is why a huge TV can cost less than most mid-range smartphones. The smartphone industry often still makes strong profits on hardware. The smart TV industry increasingly makes profit around the hardware. And this trend is not slowing down. Expect future TVs to become even more platform-driven. More personalized recommendations, more integrated shopping, more voice assistants, more subscriptions, more smart home tie-ins, and more monetization layered into the interface. The screen on the wall is becoming less of a standalone appliance and more of a portal into digital services. So the next time you see a giant smart TV at a suspiciously low price, remember this. They're not always making their money when you buy the TV. Sometimes they're making their money after you bring it home. Do some invasive smart features put you off buying budget modern TVs, or is the trade-off worth it for the cheaper price and huge screen? Let me know down in the comments, and please do subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. And thanks for watching. Why not consider watching this video next? If you have an interest in finance as well as tech, I've left a link to my other channel down in the description.